Good morning, AP Government students. Welcome to my office. Today we are going to review an FRQ, or free response question, modeled after the AP exam, specifically as it relates to DOGE and the big, beautiful bill. So let's get started. I will share my screen with you. Here we go. And first, I encourage you to make a copy of this FRQ presentation study guide. This just goes along this presentation so that you can take notes and review this content. It's multimedia. And I am going to keep this presentation under 10 minutes so that you have time to go back and review and prepare for your FRQ. So please make a copy of this study guide for yourself to take notes. Have you heard of DOGE? Well, let's take a look at what Trump has to say.
When you look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that's being uncovered by DOGE and the people at DOGE, these are young, often young, but super brilliant people, incredible computer scientists and other things. And they're finding levels of fraud and waste and abuse like I think nobody ever thought possible. When you look at
Also note the sources for these short video clips. They are typically from news sources, and they may be left of center or right of center, meaning more Republican leaning to the right or more Democratic leaning to the left. So Trump created DOGE when he was elected. He was elected by the Republican. Well, he was a Republican nominee for election, so he ran on the Republican Party platform, which was to cut taxes and reduce government, quote unquote, government waste or government spending. So he established DOGE to do that. He put Elon Musk, the world's richest man, in charge. You may know Elon Musk as the head of Tesla, the automaker. So how has DOGE trimmed the fat? So trim the fat is oftentimes referred to cutting spending. So you see here a little piggy, and piggies are known for really related to fat, or maybe even pork and fat and pork, both terms used in politics for spending. So let's take a look at these DOGE cuts. The green represents billions of dollars. We can see the heaviest hitter here is Veterans Health Care, having $119 billion cut. So take a look at these and think about what might impact you. For your study guide here as well are some additional thought-provoking questions for you. So what has DOGE done in 130 days? Let's take a look.
Why is Elon Musk leaving DOGE? Well, I'm in the makeup room getting ready to shoot my segments where I'll be talking about just that. So I figured I'd explain it to you guys in less than 90 seconds on here. So basically, he is a special government employee. He's always been a special government employee ever since Trump asked him to come on. He's only allowed to stay on board for 130 days. Anything more than that, and he becomes a regular government employee, and then he would be subject to ethics rules and things like that. So who's going to run DOGE now? Well, currently, Amy Gleason is the acting administrator. She's a lady with a background in healthcare technology. She also worked for the U.S. Digital Service. So TBD on if a leader is going to come in aside from her, but she's pretty much in charge and keeping things running smoothly until then. What has DOGE done in the 130 days that Musk has been running it? Well, they claim to have saved taxpayers $175 billion. Critics say that's a lot less, but regardless, they've cut thousands of jobs. They've cut contracts. Safe to say they've done a lot when it comes to trimming the fat of the federal government. So where will DOGE go from here? Well, Speaker Mike Johnson said that he wants to make some of DOGE's cuts permanent in the bills that he's planning on passing in the fall. So we're going to have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. What it comes down to is that even though Elon Musk's role at DOGE is over, the department will live on. Do you guys think DOGE has been beneficial for the American taxpayers? Leave your thoughts in the comments and hit that follow button for updates. Why?
Okay. Do you feel DOGE has been beneficial to taxpayers? I'll leave that up to you. What do voters think? Well, we've already reviewed what polls are. So polls are surveys that are given to voters, and we can see here we have voter. This is the source is the New York Times. Sorry, I don't have that here in this presentation. The New York Times is oftentimes seen as more left of center. However, all newspapers, when they're presenting polls, do aim to have unbiased opinions. We see here More individuals agree that the government is inefficient and that DOGE is a good idea. More people disagree that DOGE is doing a good job and that DOGE and Musk are doing a good job. So now we move into the big, beautiful bill. You've probably heard a lot about this. It was signed into law by President Trump on July 4th, 2025, so just a couple of weeks ago. Interestingly, after DOGE suggested all of those cuts be made, then Trump proposed the big, beautiful bill to Congress and pressured them within a very short timeline to pass this in both the House of Representatives as well as the Senate so that it would be passed into law when he signed it and that he would enact it as president. So this is really looking at the legislative branch, which is Congress, and the executive branch, which is president, both involved in passing the big, beautiful bill into law. You can see here a link to the Big Beautiful Bill Act, which has all of the specifics. You could actually read the entire thing, though it's incredibly long. Interestingly, the Big Beautiful Bill increases our deficit spending. So Musk is not happy about that. We'll see more about that in the next slide. The Big Beautiful Bill. What does Musk have to say?
It's like we're disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful. But I don't know if it could be both.
Elon Musk's tenure as DOGE chief may be ending in a few days, but he's taking one last shot at the big, beautiful bill that Republicans are working on. He says it will undermine the DOGE department's efforts, adding it can be big or beautiful, but not both at the same time.
He's worried, John, that this big, beautiful bill will essentially undo the work that DOGE has done during his time there. And some Republicans in the Senate who are now working through this bill themselves are on his side.
So just noting that Fox News, as we looked at, Fox News is typically significantly right of center, which is more Republican in nature. A lot of the information you'll find out there in terms of the Trump-Musk debate around DOGE and the big, beautiful bill is looked at by many Republican commentators because this is division within the Republican Party about how money should be spent and or not spent, and taxes should be made or not made. A deeper dive into the big, beautiful bill. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill will make America more indebted, more unequal, and less green. Here are 4 things to know. The first is that the bill is big, really big, nearly 1,000 pages of tax cuts, spending reductions, and new outlays for things like the military and the border. Senators have been voting on trillions of dollars in spending with barely any time to check the details and on hardly any sleep. The compressed timeline and lack of transparency makes it easy to slip in extra provisions, which are hard to get rid of once they become law. One big effect of the bill will be to significantly increase America's budget deficit, which is already huge. It's projected to rise by a cumulative $3 trillion over the next decade, mainly because the bill makes permanent some of the temporary tax cuts that President Trump signed into law in 2017 and adds some new ones. It also increases spending on defense, border security, and non-renewable energy production. Some forecasters are optimistic that tax cuts will push more workers into the job market and incentivize investment. Other modelers are less optimistic. This chart predicts that the bill will initially boost GDP growth, but over a longer period will be a drag on the economy. That's mostly due to higher interest rates. Eventually, the government will need to cut spending and raise taxes. But it looks like Congress and the president won't do that until they're